almost half of the matches are over. And after having beaten West Indies, South Africa are looking a little better than what they were looking before after losing to Bangladesh. And they have now 6 points. Now South Africa have to get 2 more points to make sure that they are in the semi-finals. As far as Australia and New Zealand are concerned, they are sitting pretty with 8 points. Now Sri Lanka have 6 points and they have a relatively easier outing against Ireland, and they play the last match against England. Now as far as England is concerned, they have to win all the matches because they have only 2 points in the bag at the moment. Bangladesh do not think themselves to be out of the equation at all, and if Bangladesh can spring some surprises, who knows, they may still be in the race. But whose apple cart they will be upsetting, only time will say. So Bangladesh cannot be discounted, and their captain Habibul Bashar has said, and in fact he got irritated when somebody suggested to him that India and Pakistan are not playing, so a lot of luster or colour has gone off. He said if they can't play well, they don't deserve to be in Super 8. Now that aside, as far as the Super 8's long program is concerned, the schedule is concerned, that is not going down very well with Matthew Hayden of Australia. He says the 47-day long schedule is a bit too much. Well, if you look at the number of teams participating in the World Cup cricket, it's only 12, and you have a 47-day program. Well, I think Matthew Hayden has a point, and especially when there are long breaks and people just come into the rhythm and again they have a break and they got to come back and play another match, it really disturbs the whole thing. So to some extent, Matthew Hayden's view is correct, and I think the World Cup organizers will take this factor into account when it is held after 4 years. And remember, the next World Cup is going to be held in South Asia, in the Indian subcontinent. Now, Brian Lara's team is out of the reckoning. Brian Lara has apologized to its supporters for not having put a good performance. So 3 big teams are out: India, Pakistan, and now West Indies. With India and Pakistan going out, of course, a whole lot of viewership has gone as far as World Cup cricket is concerned. But then the matches which are going to be played in the rest of the half of the Super 8, they are going to be very, very interesting. So keep watching them, and I'll be with you always to analyze how things are going. So who knows, West Indies is out. So is this Sri Lanka and South Africa, or Sri Lanka or England in the last 4, or it is South Africa and England? So a lot of combination is possible, and net run rate will be of quite of a good consequence. Now, coming to Indian cricket scene, well, Rahul Dravid has given a more conciliatory approach towards the BCCI by saying that he is not in a confrontational mode at all as far as the endorsements is concerned, and he has written a letter to the board president saying that there should be a dialogue. And that was the best way forward to resolve this endorsement things, on which everybody has some opinion. The former Pakistan captain Wasim Akram has said that the Indian players are being treated like kids by the BCCI. Some people are saying there should be no cap on the endorsements because BCCI does not have a cap on its own earnings. How should it place, or why should it place ceiling on the players' earnings? Well, some players are saying, I mean the former players are saying that there should be some limitation. I guess Kapil Dev spoke to the BCCI chief and saying that 6 sponsors is good enough. So somebody somewhere has to weigh how many sponsors are good enough, and the sponsors must be playing their role in the background. They have not thrown off a legal course, but something is happening in the background, and hopefully things will get resolved. Now Sachin Tendulkar in the meantime got embroiled in a fresh controversy. One Indian television channel reported that he cut a cake in a function organized by the Indian High Commission when the team was in West Indies, and that cake apparently had Indian flag on it. So the people are saying, how did Sachin Tendulkar cut a cake which had India's tricolor on it? Now the BCCI's vice president has said, one of the vice presidents, that Sachin was so busy that he didn't know, he didn't realize that he was cutting a cake which had the Indian flag on it, and if Sachin had seen it, he wouldn't have done that. And in fact the responsibility should be more on the Indian High Commission who ordered that cake, and Indian High Commission in fact is saying that no, the guy who supplied the cake, he's responsible. Now that is a very silly kind of excuse that the fellow who supplied the cake, he's responsible. In fact the organizers, whoever is organizing the function, he should be responsible for all this. Now some fans in Indore, the city in Madhya Pradesh, state of India, they got very upset with this act of Sachin, and they apparently burnt his posters. So Sachin is passing through some kind of a bad patch at this moment. Now, as far as the team for Bangladesh is concerned, India is to visit Bangladesh in the month of May. So a lot of this debate is going on. Some supporters in India are saying that not a very young side should go, and if they get walloped by the Bangladesh, then those juniors their future will be in trouble, and the Indian cricket team's morale will get a big dent. So some people are saying that there should be a reasonable number of seniors in the team, but who will be the seniors, that again will be open to question, and that will be decided by the selector. And it seems that the manager / coach Ravi Shastri will have a big say in the composition of the team, and he is saying that a reasonably young team should go, but at the same time he is a very glib talker, and he has got quite a good command of the English language. You know that he's a commentator as well. So he keeps both sides going. He says, no, the senior players are also not out of the reckoning. So let's see who are the senior players who get chopped and who are the senior players who get finally selected. And one good gesture is remembered by the Bangladesh team, and that gesture came from India's captain Rahul Dravid. After India lost to Bangladesh, Rahul Dravid met Tamim Iqbal in the hotel, and he told him, this young player, to see him in his room. And after a while, when Tamim Iqbal went to see Dravid, he was feeling a bit hesitant. But when he met him, Dravid lavished a lot of praise on this young player and finally gifted a bat to him, and also gave a bat for Mushfiqur Rahim, the young wicketkeeper of Bangladesh. So this guy, Tamim Iqbal, was overwhelmed by this gesture, and he got some tips also from Dravid as to what he could do in his batting to improve. And remember, a few years back, Yunus Khan of Pakistan had got some tips from Rahul Dravid, and after that he went on to score a number of centuries. So Rahul Dravid's this gesture has gone down very well with the Bangladesh team, and probably can hold them in good stead when Bangladesh plays their next matches in the Super 8 stage. So let's keep an eye on the Super 8 matches which are going to be happening in the next few days, and let's see which are the other two teams other than Australia and New Zealand who reach the semi-final. Semi-final is definitely going to be really interesting, and even some of the latter matches of the Super 8 stages are also going to be very interesting, especially the matches in which England is going to play, because as far as England is concerned, it is do or die for them for every match. They've got to win every match to stay in contention. So I'll be seeing you again in my next vlog with a lot more detail about the World Cup cricket, as well as very interesting cricket news from all over the world. So till then, it's bye-bye from me, Partho Mukherjee.